Hello, everyone. I am Julianne Meyer. You are watching Seizing Your Greatness. And today's amazing guest is Lynn Whitbeck. And I got to tell you guys a little secret. I had a technology snafu, and this is the second time we've gotten together to do this because I erased her last interview. So I'm so honored, so pleased that she has agreed to come back because I think the petite to queen sales guru, queen herself, is somebody that can really change the landscape of how to do business. And let's bring Lynn on to the show. Lynn, welcome again.
Julianne, it's an honor and it's a pleasure. We can do this over and over again.
I felt so silly. For those that are watching that noticed before, I wanted to go make sure that the video was going to go, and then all of a sudden it just wasn't there, and I'm like, oh, that had to have been me. I think I went on a cleaning spree through my studio and accidentally got rid of it. But anyway, I am so glad that you're here again. And for those that are watching, Lynn and I have been working together on a few different projects. And in fact, she is somebody that I introduced to somebody I work with in order for us to hire her and work with her, because I just love the way that you, Lynn, look at sales in such a different, more relationship way versus, trying to force people into buying what you have. So I would love for you to share a little bit more about you besides that, because we do want to jump into that. But speaking of relationships, we'd like to get to know you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm the antithesis of the bro marketing. So my business owners hire me to create a consistent, repeatable, and scalable sales process that's more profitable and joyful. And it's a natural conversation so that they can serve their clients and create incredible impact for them.
I love the word joyful and joy because I think it's such a misunderstood and underused word, because joy does not require outside things in order to feel it. It's a way of being versus a quick emotion like happy, sad, right? Not necessarily quick, but it's different. And how did you get into the joyful aspect of things?
Well, when I help my clients and make a difference for them, and I'm not talking world peace or rocket science here, but it makes my cup full and it really fills me up. It is joyful because I know that I'm helping them and I'm making a difference so that they in turn can help more people. It's like this ripple that becomes a wave that becomes something you can surf, right?
I really like that too, because it just, you know how many people I run into, they're like, I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah.
You know what? You are. You are, whether it's your children, your husband, your wife, your friends, or whatever. You're always selling something. So I like the idea of changing the idea of what selling actually is, as into more of a relationship and joy and helping and serving versus, like we said before, the whole bro bro selling. So is this something that you've cultivated over years, or is it kind of something that you just intuitively understood and were like, I'm going to do it this way?
Well, I first started selling when I was a Girl Scout and I had the chance to sell cookies. And that year there was a brand new cookie badge and you had to sell a truckload. I mean, a truckload of cookies to get that badge. And I coveted that badge. And so, that was my first experience really. And I went out with my friend Judy and with my little red wagon. You remember the red wagon, the red flyer wagons with the cookies on top, like the Leaning Tower cookies. And I discovered three challenges right off the bat that either people might not be home or didn't buy. Those that did buy, I had to run back and forth to the wagon. And because my friend Judy was so shy, she wouldn't leave the sidewalk. Right. And, then they would say, oh, wait, I want another box of samosas. And I was running back to the wagon. And so at the end of the day, I'm going like, wow, how are we ever going to sell a truckload of cookies within this window of time so I can get that badge? And I'm talking about my tale of woe with my parents, and my dad, he just looked at me and he just said, Lynn, where do people normally buy their cookies? A grocery store. So a plan was born. We ditched the wagon, and the very next day we were set up in front of the grocery store at the table, playing to our strengths. Judy was in the back of the house. She's at the table. She took the money, gave him the cookies, and I was out front like a Walmart greeter in, right? And we did. We actually sold a truckload of cookies. We were the only two girls in our district to earn that badge, and the youngest two girls in the state. And the key was that we created a consistent and repeatable plan, right? And so it was,
Yeah.
and we loved the cookies. We loved being in Girl Scouts. We loved the organization. So when you love your product or service, you know that you create great cookies, I don't know, snacking joy, joy with your clients, whatever it may be. Flaming hot Fritos, thinking about that story, whatever it is, then that's the beauty of sales. This is really not about forcing someone to buy something.
Yeah,
Ick. Nobody
yeah.
wants that. They don't want to buy from that anyway. But when you're really providing that solution and you're the trusted partner, and what you do creates lasting impact that truly delivers that goal, that dream, that big initiative that they're trying to achieve.
Mhm.
Wow. I mean, that's just a freaking wow.
I think it's pretty amazing that you came up with that eons before that was a normal thing. You and your dad, because now that's where everybody sells their cookies. They don't go door to door,
Oh, yeah.
but or through the parents. But I love this idea too because you're solving a problem. You made it as easy as possible because, like you said, they're not standing there waiting at the door for you to go running back and forth. You eliminated the objections, as they say, even though they might not have even. I love that. I love that so much. So it grew from there. And what would you say is one common thing when you're working with people that most people struggle with when it comes to sales?
Oh, the follow-up. Always. I mean, there's two things that immediately come to mind. Follow-up is one, because many people are terrible at follow-up, and the stats prove us out. Most people don't even follow up once. I mean,
Mhm.
literally, most people. Um, it's like some huge number, like 40 to 42, 45% of people never even follow up once.
Wow.
And most people who do follow up, they give up after the fourth time. And the thing is that most people aren't ready to buy right away. Now, buying a box of Girl Scout cookies is very, very different, right? But the key thing is that when we're in our sales process, we have to find a way to continue to do the follow-up activities that deliver value, that
Mhm.
matter to our prospects, so that we are staying front of mind. We're building our relationship and our credibility brick by brick, and that when
Mhm.
they're ready to buy, who are they going to call, right?
Exactly. There's this one thing that I think a lot of people struggle with. I was definitely one of those people until I changed the way I did things. But that was the just checking in email.
Oh,
That's so cringe. It's so cringe.
yeah.
But that's not
There's
what you're referring to when you say follow up, is it?
Oh, no, no, absolutely not. You always have to lead with the value. I mean, why does it matter to your client? And so that gets into the second biggest thing that people miss is just they're not thinking like their client.
Yeah.
And they really, because this is not about you. You're
Yeah.
not the one who makes the decision to buy. It's your client, your prospect who chooses to purchase from you. And so why? What's their big why? I mean, what do they want,
Mhm.
need, or lack? Why does it matter to them? What's keeping them up late at night? What's that thorn in their side? What's that solution that they're seeking? So
Mhm.
they can what? I mean, what's that big goal, the initiative, that dream that they truly want to achieve, that transformation? Because
Yeah.
that's what they buy. It's
Mhm.
nobody buys an iPhone to make a phone call. Right, so it's what is that? And when you
Yeah.
understand that, and then you look at what you already have, everyone has assets. They've got a podcast recording, they've been on a TV show, they've written a blog post, they've got a book, whatever it happens to be, an infographic, right? You've got assets that, and if they don't already, you tweak them so that they match your client thinking, and you've
Mhm.
really restructured that into what I call, that prospect love language that I really truly attracts and connects them. And then how do you deliver that quickly?
Mhm.
And that's why does it matter to them that or it's even something that's fresh. It's like, oh, I found out that Julianne loves ladybugs. And I see something at a store and I take a quick snap of it and I just send her, I saw this and I thought of you.
Yeah, I
I
like
mean
that.
I mean, that's just it doesn't oh, you don't always have to be trying to sell somebody, right? It's about
No.
building the relationship because even when someone never purchases from you, that does happen. They could become a promoter. They could provide you with a platform. They could
Yep.
become a raving fan and provide you with referrals when even though they haven't worked with you. So what
Exactly.
so keep this in that framework. It's about the relationship. And if they are a core value match, they're your people,
Mhm.
you know,
You know
then there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, I really like that too because I always think about when I'm talking with my clients and I'm saying, "Listen, if you're gonna have a guest on your show, think long term because you have no idea." A lot of the hosts that I brought on to E360 TV were guests on my show at one point. So
Yeah.
you never know. You never know how that's gonna work. So I like this idea of being open to it not looking exactly the way that you expect it to, but that's what a relationship is. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
really like that. Something else that I was thinking about too is that a lot of people, and I run into this, is they sell the steak, not the sizzle. It's like if I'm looking for skinny jeans, I'm buying the opportunity to fit into my skinny jeans, not how many burpees I'm going to be doing in order to fit into them. I don't really necessarily care about the how, as long as I get what I want.
Yeah. You people will focus, they'll get bogged down talking about the process or the
Yeah,
details. And what you have to remember is that what people are looking for is the transformation
yeah,
or achieving that big goal and and visualizing that and what's that going to be like? How is that going to make everything,
yeah,
really different? And
yeah.
so it's really important to focus on the results and the outcomes.
Mhm. I really like that too because I just think about how many people too try and stuff everything into that one phone call or email or something. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. All you want is one little step moving forward in the right direction. And that direction, according to what I'm hearing you say, is a better relationship and whatever that may look like. I don't.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's also true about how you would implement a solution. It's sort of
Mhm.
like, think about it, you're sitting down at a meal. And are you going to try to stuff the entire bit of lasagna with the roasted asparagus with the garlic bread in your mouth in one bite? No. You you're going to, cut it up and you're going to eat one bite at a time.
Yeah.
So, with sales, it's definitely, I go in like when we first start working as a triage, really what do we need to do immediately so that we
Mhm.
can start getting some results? And then what's the big strategy? And then how are we going to get started on that
Ooh,
and achieving that? So
yeah.
there's two things that are going on simultaneously because the first thing is that when people start working with me, they're looking for help to close more sales, you
Yeah.
know, and whatever's happening, they need more sales or
No matter what.
something's changed, whatever. And so sometimes it's just like they need to they know they don't have a consistent, repeatable process. They're exhausted from doing all the things.
Mhm.
And so it's really getting that strategy that's going to align with them, their business, their product and service, and their ideal client, right? And getting those things to match up and finding that where the sweet spot is. And then
Yeah.
really focus there so that you're focusing your energy, your time, and your resources in the right place to maximize your results.
Yes, absolutely. And you said that S word a few times, strategy. I love that word because it does take strategy. Like you said, otherwise you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and trying everything. And there's nothing fun about that. Absolutely nothing fun whatsoever. So, what I'm guessing too is that strategy, although there are certain processes that are tried and true, not every strategy fits every person.
Correct. So and there's strategy and there's tactics. Tactics are sort of part of the strategy, but it has to fit, first of all, your own personality as a business owner or as a sales leader. It also has to fit your product or service, and it has to fit your ideal client. So those things have to come together. And so that's one of the things that people think, oh, well, I can learn to speak from stage. Well, they are terrified of speaking on stage. Yes, that's a good strategy, but it just literally makes them sick, and they break out in hives. I don't know, all the things. Some people are just not meant to speak in front of a big audience, and that's okay. All
Yeah.
right, because there are other things. Or some people think, oh, I want to speak, but I want to get paid oodles of money to speak. Well, that's very different than speaking as a sales strategy to generate new leads and
Mhm.
appointments and discovery calls, right? So they're different strategies and the tactics you use are different. And so that's one of the things that we have to think about when we're working with somebody. And also, is that even something, is their ideal client? Are they going to be able to find them there?
Yeah.
Because, if you're selling to CPAs, well, heck yes, because there's probably a state society of certified public accountants in whatever state you are. There's one in Washington. It has
Yeah.
over 7,000 members, right? So that's the group you want to be hanging out in. You want to be going to those events. You want to be interacting because you're going to be meeting lots of ideal clients, right? So you've
Yeah.
got to look at all the pieces to put them together.
I like this idea too. You said this a few times, and I really want the audience to hear it. Ideal clients. Not everybody who has a pocketbook is meant for you. And
No, absolutely, and you cannot be afraid to repel people who are not a good fit. So,
yeah.
that's the thing, you've gotta be your authentic self. I'm naturally cheerful, joyful, right? I talk about strategy a lot.
Yeah.
And if that just turns you off, you want something that's quick and slick and, somehow somebody's gonna wave a magic wand, well, I'm not your gal, because
Yeah.
I'm telling you there isn't a magic wand
Well,
except for the
you're
ones that they
magic.
sell at Universal Studios in Harry Potter Land.
I was gonna say you're magic, but you don't have a magic wand, and there is a difference. And that's the thing is that usually it's too good to be true. You want it to be repeatable, like you said. All these, magic bullets are fine, but they're one time, if they do even happen. So this idea of repeatable strategy with ideal clients and customers is really, I got to tell you real quick. There's been many times when I've said, "Yeah, this isn't the right fit for you. This is where you should go." And I wish you all. I will still be a raving fan. I wish you all the best. And some of those people have been the ones that are like the best referral resources ever because I wasn't trying to fit them with something that wasn't going to be a good fit.
A square peg for the round hole.
Yeah, I mean, I coulda used the money, and it would have been an awful experience for everyone involved, so, no
Yeah,
thank
and it would have
you.
ended up costing you more because of the time and energy to try to sort that square peg round hole.
Exactly,
It's so true. That's what I call a no offer, where you
yeah,
point them to something else, or you point them to a resource, or you make an introduction to something that, someone that that is going to be a good fit for them.
yeah, I do like that. So, what are some of the things that you would think that most business owners overlook? One, you said the number one thing was the follow-up, but I guess what I'm referring to is there are things in particular that you see that seem to work really well, like, for example, those emails or possibly social media? Is there something that you see that just works over and over again?
Yeah, so there's two things that come up. The first one is that you need to always think that when you're ready to start discussing the price with a client,
Mhm,
always start with your highest price option. So even if you're selling nuts and bolts, well, you probably have different qualities. You've got
mhm,
stainless steel, you might have galvanized, you might have who knows what, right? Start with the highest price because you then fix the price in your prospect's mind. So now psychologically, you've set a price. It's much easier to slide down the hill and move them from solid stainless steel to galvanized or something,
uh-huh,
right? So it's really important to set the price at the highest and also never provide more than three options because
mhm,
a confused mind, they can't buy. And it's
yep,
got to be very clearly focused on the results that,
mhm,
what's the differentiator? Like, is it speed? Like, if you choose this option or this one, those stainless steel, they're not going to rust, so
Mhm.
anywhere where it's getting exposed to a lot of weather, well, that's sort of like a no-brainer, right? So
Exactly.
you got to go through and process that. The other thing that you mentioned is think about your engagement. So, social media is almost become a trigger word for me because people will tell you they got to be everywhere. You got to be doing all this stuff. Well, here's the truth. Social media has less than a 3% engagement level.
Mhm.
Facebook, less than 1%.
Yep.
Now, yeah, if you want to hustle, and that means time, your resources, your money, your
Mhm.
sanity, trying to hustle, uh, sure. But people are they're scrolling at midnight or at 2 in the morning. They're not there to buy anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you focus on and moving people to your email list is really important because you own your email list. Now, I've personally changed ESPs, which is email service provider, 3 times, and I just moved my whole list.
Mm,
So you own your list, and
yeah.
email lists normally have about a 24% engagement on up, some even higher. And when you consistently email, and this means at least once a week, with once again content that matters to your audience.
Mhm.
Okay, you're not always trying to sell at them.
Yeah.
Yes, you have offers and opportunities, but you're also giving them a reason to stay active and engaged. That
Mhm.
the emails provide valuable content that will help and serve them, but they're also entertaining. I mean, even in our conversation now, we've had some laughs, right? I mean, let's make it entertaining because it's not that hard. And
Mhm.
when you have that kind of format, you can not only do you want to move people from social into your email through a
Yeah.
lead magnet, get them onto your email list because it's a classic saying, but it's so true, right? Remember the fortune's in the follow up? Well, the money's in the list. If
Yep.
and so that is these are the people who do become your raving fans and will purchase your new things,
Mhm.
engage with you, and that's why that list is so important. And it helps you in other aspects of your business as well, with strategic partners, with special events that you might have. Um, you know, just something that means a lot to you. So
Yeah.
think of it, your email list is your that online community.
You bring up a really good point. You own your email list. You can get booted out of social media at any moment. So even if you have like a fantastic engagement in social media, what happens if you get hacked, if you get kicked out? I mean, then what? So
Yeah.
it's never ever good to put all your eggs in somebody else's basket. We are almost out of time. We only have about 2 minutes left. So I'm just curious if there's anything you'd love to share with the audience that maybe I didn't ask you about, or reiterate something that you think is really important.
Well, I just want to remind everyone that sales is truly a gift. This is how you help and serve your clients. And when you flip your mindset around and you truly deliver a big value, a transformation, or the outcome that you promise, wow. So, sales is a gift that you give your clients. So, be mindful of that and let it reframe how you approach your sales.
That's such a wonderful way to look at it, because ask better questions. That's what I always say to myself when I'm not getting a response I like within my own brain. I'm like, I'm not asking the right question. So how can I reframe this? It's funny too, because earlier today I was asked, well, what do you do when things are not going the way that you think that they should? And I said, well, I just tell myself all is in divine order, and I sit back and breathe, because it's not going the way I want it to, but it doesn't mean it isn't right. So oh yeah. So you mentioned too that oh, you know what, we didn't, real quick, we didn't talk about eWomen Network. We've got like 1 minute, literally 1 minute left, but we didn't talk about eWomen Network. And that is something that you and I are a part of. And you are my leader of the pack. So real quick, if you could tell us a little bit about eWomen.
Well, we could have a whole conversation on that. But yeah, I'm your managing director here in Greater Seattle. But this is a real core community that brings business women and the men who support women to really grow their businesses.
Mhm.
And it's all about giving first, sharing always, and lifting as we climb. And it is about relationships. And I
Mhm.
love the support and the business that I get from eWomen. And it's truly a unique organization. So
It
ewomennetwork.com, check it out.
Thank you so much, Lynn, for being here with me again. It's always a pleasure to have time with you. So thanks for being here and sharing your wisdom.
Oh, thank you so much for Julianne for I'm really honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. And for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for being here today. We will be back again next Thursday. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week.